Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Live. So glad to be here. Have a little glare in my eye. Excuse me as I do a little adjusting here. Right, I need those lights off. Okay. Wait, the other one. No, the other one. Okay, great. Thanks. All right, guys. We're ready. I think we're good. Let's go. Welcome. Pringles in the house. Always good to have Pringles. I can't think of any potato chip thing to say, so I'll leave it alone. But it's good to have the Pringles with us. Hey, Carrie, it's a pleasure to see you. All right. Sheila, you're back from Cincy. That's awesome. Hey, sweetie pie. Hey, Lynn, how are you? Once you pop, the fun don't stop. Okay, thank you, Rosie. Appreciate you immensely. Look, we're moving forward with our app. I hope you guys have been keeping up with the updates. You've been looking, and if you have been, you've noticed a couple things that are different. One is the Mentoring Manhood spot on the front. Chalet, not Shalea, Chalet. Gotcha. One is the Mentoring Manhood tab on the front. Please feel free to go there and explore. Men or women are free to explore, because even as we continue, thank you guys for having your profile pics. Thank you. Even as we continue to explore and develop men, women, you guys want to be in on that as well. Okay? So you really want to be in on that. So I challenge you to go and explore it. That way you will be more apt to invite your significant others, the men in your life, whether it's your husband, boyfriend, brother, dad, whomever, because Mentoring Manhood is for all men. We're trying to make them ready for you, ladies. We're trying to make men ready for these women in their lives. Shayla, okay. Got you. And she says, Shayla, Pastor. Got you. All right, so I'm excited to get started tonight. Please, I'll say tonight, as I say every evening, when you're done, please go make comment on the opening page. Make comment. If you want to repeat something that you learned tonight, you want to talk about it, you can keep the conversations going throughout the week. It doesn't have to stop after our 20-25 minutes together, okay? But tonight is kind of different. I've been said that we're going to be answering some questions, and I have some questions that have come up, and some things, we talk about here. It's stuff that you can't talk about on other platforms, and you can give opinions that you can't give on other platforms, which is perfectly all right. That's how we want it to be. You want you to be open and honest, and feel no hindrance towards expressing your true feelings. It doesn't always have to be everybody's feelings. They might be just yours, and that's okay too. So let's get rocking and rolling. Well, what's tonight's question? Okay, and I'm going to say this, and I'm a little hesitant, but I'm going to roll with it. This is a question that I'm going to sort of change a little bit so that everyone can relate. A single lady went out and met a gentleman, and he informed her that he's interested, but he wants her to be one of many, because he believes in polyamory. What do I do with someone who believes in and practices polyamory? Now, let me work this a little bit. There was a young lady who I know believed in polyamory and practiced it. And it became the thing back in the day. It was okay to say you had a team and you were just substituting people in and out of that team. Well, to look at polyamory, what is it by definition? There are a number of different definitions of it. Okay, there's ethical non-monogamy. I'm going to be straight with y'all. I'm sorry. I'm going to be straight with y'all. Okay. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm not even going to go religious. I'm not. I could, but I'm not going to go spiritual. Okay. I'm going to deal with this strictly from a socio-psychological perspective. All right. Thank you, Wendy, who's never on evolved name for HOE. Thank you. But I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to appeal to your intellect. I'm going to appeal to your psyche, and we're going to talk about this. But don't y'all get quiet on me. Okay, don't y'all get quiet on me. When it comes to polyamory, and believe it or not, it is something that is on a roll in dating and in married society. What is it? Sister wives, brother husbands. These were shows that were actually on TV. Okay? Now, half of Americans, this is from research, I'm going to share this with you. Half of Americans say open marriages where both spouses agree that they can date or have sex with other people are somewhat or completely unacceptable. Somewhat or complete. Okay, calm down. This includes, get this, 37% who say these marriages are completely unacceptable, and 13% say they are somewhat unacceptable. Now, I want to share with you how this breaks down. Among all adults, okay, we're talking all adults, among men, about 49% men say it's unacceptable. 36% say it's acceptable with a 15% variance. Okay, they don't care either way. 52% of women say it's unacceptable, and 30% say it's acceptable. Are you getting this? All right. Hey, Christine and Melanie. Now, among the races, y'all hear me? 51% of white men say it's unacceptable, while 52% of black men say it's all men and all women. Okay. 51% say it's unacceptable among white people. 52% say it's unacceptable among black people. 48% among Hispanics, and 39% among Asians. Now, let's look at the acceptable. 44% of Asians believe it's acceptable. 32% of Hispanics believe it is. 31% of black and 33% white believe it's acceptable. And what you'll find is that the younger people are, for instance, ages 18 to 29, 51% believe it's okay. This is where we're going in society. Are y'all feeling me? 41% between 30 and 49, 50 to 64. Thank God, my generation is still hanging in there. Only 20% say it's acceptable, which is still too high. And over 65, 15% say it's acceptable. That is crazy. Okay, I guess you already know my opinion about polyamory. But the idea here is that if two people agree that we can sleep with people, and we both agree on it, then it's cool, because it has become sort of like now an acceptable social science, an acceptable thing, polyamory. It used to be called swingers. All right, but now it's polyamory. All right. Now who is this? Carrie said, "You're not going to go spiritual, but I am. It's a trick of the enemy." Okay, girl, you ain't got to convince me. But I said I'm not, because I want. We can always look. I can give you quotes, Bible script. I can give you all day and all night. Okay, but I want to appeal to your intellect, and the Bible does appeal to intellect. I don't want to appeal there, and then Then we're going to deal with some other things. Okay. Now, Wendy says, "Who on the call think it's acceptable? I won't judge, but I'm curious." Okay. Patricia say, "Why bother getting married? The question, I'm sorry, I'm judging." Let me tell you something about this whole judging thing while we at it. There is this idea that anytime I point out something that might or might not be wrong is considered judging. I want you to get that out of your mind. Okay? If I see you doing something dangerous, and I see that dangerous thing, okay, being ultimately leading to your demise, and I tell you that this dangerous thing has some very, very negative consequences, that is not judging. It is not judging. Judgment says, what a judge does, this is what a judge does. A judge pronounces a sentence. Okay? I want you to get this. A judge pronounces a sentence. You're going to jail for 20 years. You've been acquitted. These are judgments. If I'm going to judge you, then I'm saying, because you're polyamorous, you're going to hell. Because you're polyamorous, no, I'm not saying any of that. Because I believe that everybody can get themselves together, can change their minds. That's not what it is. But there's nothing wrong with pointing out bad behavior. Please get that out of your mind. Okay, now, someone says, Rosa, you will judge, Wendy. Okay, Lynn says this. I've never seen a relationship in the Bible or now where it's successful, meaning both parents happy and the relationship lasts. But please educate me if I'm wrong. No, I can't educate you because you are. You're not wrong. I am not the one for that. That's a good explanation of judgment. Thank you. But here's the deal. I've known two situations where there has been, personally, where I've known people who've been involved in polyamory. You can call it whatever you want. Yeah, and I'm going to get to that in a second, Wendy. That's a good point. You can call it whatever you want. But I know of two situations, both have failed miserably because there are some serious psychological influences and things that happen once you're engaged in this, okay? Polyamory doesn't mean you're open to men and women. The idea behind polyamory is many loves. I'm able to fall in love with many loves, okay? Now, polyamory could mean pansexuality, which is I'm a trisexual. I can try anything. But generally, they look at polyamory as maybe the same, some hetero or some same-sex situations. However, I believe personally that if you're into polyamory, it's just a sliver of a door into other things. And look, I have never been the one, anybody who knows me, anyone who's listened to me, anyone who's had me to counsel them understands I am a big proponent of you doing your thing and you living with your own consequences. I am not the guy to tell you what to do and what not to do. I don't even tell marriages to stay together. You got to stay together. No, if you want a divorce, that is your choice. And the same thing when it comes to polyamory. I'm only here to tell you, if you want my opinion, I'm going to tell you my opinion. But I'm here to tell you that there are some serious consequences to it. Melanie says, I think most decide to do this after marriage. Having problems, boredom, and they think this is the answer. Still destroys marriages. There are a lot of people who decide to do this after marriage. I know of some religious couples who do this. I said it. I know of religious couples in conservative denominations who do this. Okay? And they might call it boredom. They might think it's okay. Let me share something with you. You can rationalize yourself into anything. Hitler in Mein Kampf said, by telling a person slow, persistent lies, you can eventually convince them that heaven is hell and hell is heaven. All it takes is persistence, just consistent, persistent error. And eventually people will become accustomed to it. I thought that's what the dating world is. Ted says, we're just getting to know each other. The dating world is polyamory. Just screwing around. I asked my daughter this when she started dating. She's 24 now. I said, what is your purpose in dating? What is the goal of dating? Everything must have a goal. There must be a goal in marriage. There must be a goal in dating. Dating must have a purpose. If your only goal in dating is for you to screw around, get your rocks off, sow your wild oats, then you are completely and terribly misled. Okay? There has to be a goal in dating. Okay, question here by Carrie. Is there a difference between polygamy and polyamory? Great question. Polygamy refers to having many having more than one spouse. More than one spouse. Polyamory means having more than one love. I quote love because air quote love because it ain't love. Love involves commitment. But polyamory deals with having more than one partner, okay, married or unmarried. Polygamy has to do with having more than one legally married person in your life. Okay, that's the only difference. Both of them are screwing around. Okay, that's the big deal. Okay, Wendy says, I've never heard of marriages that succeeded polyamory. They either stop and get counseling to stay together or leave the marriage, unfortunately. And you're absolutely right. Now, I do know people who have overcome polyamory, people who have gotten it out of their system, just like they agreed to do it, they agreed to not do it. Okay, I do know people who have stepped out and had orgies, and then they got themselves together and decided we're not going to do this anymore. Absolutely, it can happen. So just because you may tiptoe into polyamory doesn't mean you got to sit down there. Okay, so our goal here tonight is to get you to see the cons of it. I ain't gonna say no pros, because from my perspective and my Judeo-Christian ethic, I don't see many pros, except for you get the chance to experience more than one person. Right? I've never seen a successful marriage. I've never seen a successful marriage who does this. Absolutely, Teddy. Wendy, Teddy, there's so much truth in that statement, unfortunately. Carrie. Okay, polygamy has rules, though. Well, the only rules in polygamy is that if you're not a part of the marriage, then you are cheating. Polyamory, there are no rules per se. Now, I take that back for all polyamorites out there. I take it back, if that's a word. With polyamory, it's supposed to be consensual multi-relationships. Okay? Consensual. And I'm not going to repeat what Wendy just said. Okay. Okay, but let's go on. Here are some of the challenges. First of all, as you would imagine, jealousy and insecurity. Relationships are fragile as they are. Okay? They're very fragile. And so, because of the fragility of relationships, when you throw in whether they are consensual or non-consensual, when you throw other people into the mix, there is a serious amount of jealousy and insecurity that's added into the relationship that you got to deal with. Okay? A new partner joins the relationship. Oh, she's finer than you. Oh, he's handsomer than you. Oh, he's more endowed than you are. Oh, dang, she's tighter than you. She ain't never had no babies. These are serious issues. Serious issues, and they bring the kind of maturity it takes to handle that very few people have. Or the kind of blindness it takes to handle it very few people can deal with. Okay? There will always be some jealousy, and it will add to the insecurity, which leads to the failure in the relationship. Secondly, the emotional burnout. You know how difficult it is to be married and to be in one relationship successfully? The emotional burnout, not to even imagine the time management, is incredulous. Okay, so it's very difficult. Juggling the needs and the desires of multiple partners can be mentally and emotionally taxing. That's another thing. Communication challenges. My wife and I, we're communicating. I mean, we had some trouble communicating today, but we communicate, but we learn how to communicate. We learn how to communicate with one person. And some of y'all might say, well, look, there are polygamous marriages that live overseas and whatever. That is ingrained into their system. And you got to understand that they don't start off romantically. They may even live in different homes. This is a man taking care of different households, and it's ingrained into their society. America ain't like that. It's just not. All right. So this whole idea of communicating, my wife and I, we've learned to communicate and get through most of our challenges. Well, okay, all of them, but some of them just slower. But we've learned to get through our challenges. But imagine having to have that same kind of communicative effort with numerous people. I can't imagine it. Okay? Now, another problem is the social stigma. People don't understand it. You're out with a number of people. I'm sorry. It affects you on your job. It affects you in your church. It affects you everywhere. Okay? Then there are the power dynamics and equality. There are equity imbalances and considerations of who's in charge and who's not in charge, et cetera, et cetera. Then embracing the comparison, being happy for your partner and comparing each other, comparing one another, not to mention the legal challenges. In the event of, in the way of polygamy, the legal challenges, who gets what? And then there's the influence on children. Is this something your children need? You want your children to emulate? Okay. I saw sister wives, black couple who looked for a sister wife. The main wife was teaching the sister wife how to clean her vajayjay. Thank you, honey. What were you saying here? So that she can sleep with her husband. She eventually got jealous and sister wife had to go. Yeah, you see it's just too much. It's too much. And I'm not saying that from no spiritual perspective. We're talking about what is too much. I think it's become so popular because some people no longer believe in true commitment and monogamy. They think polyamory avoids lying, cheating, heartbreaks, no ties. I believe that still leaves you feeling lonely, unhappy. Most researchers say that the reason that polyamory has become so evident is because of the proliferation of social media and the support of it through social media and the ideologies. And people put these ideas out there like this is such the way to go. This is great. And because people now they call them doom strolling, doom scrolling, where they're just looking day and night, just all the time, just looking. All these things are being imprinted on your brain. And so you're looking at this. Nobody even knew what polyamory was 50, 100 years ago. We knew about bigamy. Polygamy, but nobody really knew that stuff because we weren't sharing information like we do now. We weren't sharing information, and a lot of it is erroneous. Did you know that on social media, you can come up with any kind of crazy idea and somebody will say, hey, it must be good. It's on the internet. It must be real. It's not. I'm sorry. Call me what you want, but I still believe in values. Some of the other challenges is the diffusion of responsibility or complexity of problematic social and sexual standards. Yeah. You having sex with one person, they blowing your mind. Then you coming back to this other person. Guess what you're going to do? You're going to stay with the mind blower. It's going to cause problems. Okay? Again, I ain't the guy to tell you what to do in your life. But I'm here to tell you that these are issues, these are challenges that present more problems than good. Lots of people want the sugar without the commitment, so they couch it in polyamory. Absolutely. Look, bottom line, it's just cheating with a new name. That's it. It's just cheating with a new name. I'm sorry, it is. It is. And all the problems that come with it. You can put lipstick on a pig, it's still a pig. Now, there's some people out there who might be offended at that, and it's okay because we don't have to always be lovey-dovey and huggy-huggy, okay? We don't have to, okay? Now, there are some, now Wendy brings up something here. I said that those are some of the socio-psychological issues that happen. Let's talk about, when I say spiritual challenges, I'm not talking about religious things. I'm talking about, you can call it energetic, you can call it whatever you want. But every time a man and a woman comes together in sexual intercourse, they call it intercourse. Two things coming together to intertwine into one course, okay? Intercourse. Because whenever two people come together, they share more than just skin. They share more than just seminal fluid. They also share energy. Religious, spiritual people believe it's called spiritual or soul ties, but they share energy. That's why if you sleep with somebody, you're connected to them, even more so than if you had not, because there's a transference of energy. There's a transference of spirit. There's a transference of yourself, of your soul. Even they tell you that I was a HIV and AIDS counselor years ago. And they say you have to understand that whoever you sleep with, you've slept with that person, the person they slept with, the person they slept with, and the person they slept with. You're sleeping with probably 5, 10 people now, all in one person. They were talking about transmission of diseases. I'm talking about transmission of your energy, transmission of your spirit, transmission of your soul. It's the same thing. Okay? You're creating a connection, a spiritual, social, psychological connection to that person. And to do that among many people is almost impossible. All right? All right. Now, before we go down that road anymore, I know when I see you throwing up scriptures, and that's good. The two will become one. You create spirit or soul ties. Absolutely. Any other comments before we bring this to a close? So, and I know that this is a little touchy. I needed to talk about it, though, because some of y'all ain't talking. I hope it ain't because y'all involved in polyamory. If you are, I hope you got something out of this, okay? Again, do your thing. It's your thing. Do what you want to do. I can't tell you who to sock it to, okay? But I am telling you that there are serious challenges. Some of y'all don't even know that song I just quoted. There are serious challenges, okay? Okay, honey, you're still... There was this woman who said she and her husband were having issues. She said she started exhibiting characteristics of her best friend, then later found out that her husband was cheating on her with her bestie. Yeah, and then, look, I've been counseling for over 25 years. I could tell you instance after instance after instance of people where their energies have connected and they've been exposed because without even trying to be exposed. For the record, the Stewarts are not. Well, of course you're not. I didn't think you were. Guest Higgins has heard that before as well. Okay. And here's the thing. I'm going to say this. This is my last story. I was talking to a young lady, and she was saying that she and her husband were drifting apart. And why? This was years ago. They're no longer married. And the question was why? Well, why are you guys drifting apart? But she didn't realize what it was until one night she was in bed. This is an absolute true story. I know because I know the people and I talk with them. One night she was in bed and she was lying there. And all of a sudden she felt him get into the bed. She felt the bed depressed and she felt him lie down. She leaned, turned over to put her arm on him and no one was there. And she screamed at the top of her lungs because she wasn't asleep. So what happened? He came running into the room. He had been in the other room on the computer watching pornography. Do with that what you will, but there's a transference of energy. There's a transference of spirit whenever you're doing those things, okay? That's it for me. Y'all, I hope you got it. That's it. I told you it was going to be something that was a little hot, a little different, but I hope you got that, okay? I hope you got it. All right? I know it. I know it is. I know it. But I hope you got that. So that's something that I want you to really consider if that's brought to you. Next week, on Thursday, please invite some people. We're going to come back. We try to keep it 100, but we're going to make it real. This is not, we are a values-based broadcast. We are a values-based broadcast. I make no qualms about that. That's what we are. That's what I do. That's who I am. But we're not preaching. We're not going to beat you up with the scripture, beat you up. No, we're not doing that. That's why quite often I come from a very spiritual perspective because I want you to see every side of a thing. Okay. All right. God bless you guys. Thursday night, please come back. Also, go and make comment, please, on the opening page. Post something. Let me know how you enjoyed tonight. There were a lot of you who ain't saying nothing, and I know y'all out there, okay? Because I get a number, and I know how many people watch it. And the majority, maybe 5% of the people who are on here actually say something, okay? So all you guys who are not saying something, go out there, all right? Bless you. God bless you.